Welcome to My Parents Lied to Me, the podcast about navigating aging, loss, and all the midlife changes no one warned us about. I'm Nicole Porter, here with real stories and expert advice to help you face what's now and what's next. Hello and welcome to My Parents Lied to Me. I'm Nicole Porter, and I am the founder of this podcast and all the things. I forgot how I was going to start this. But anyway, welcome to My Parents Lied to Me. I have my friend here, Jessica Wiehle, and we met a few years ago in the senior space. And, after dealing with my mother's declining health a few years ago, I was really like, hey, Mom, I met this woman. She knows aromatherapy, essential oils, like it could really help you in your health. And, of course, my mom said, I don't think that works for me. So, I was really excited to have Jessica on here. I mean, of course, my mother's gone now, but I think she's got some really valuable information to share regarding aromatherapy, essential oils, the chemicals, all of the things. So I'm just going to introduce her and let her tell you about her business and how she got started and why she does what she does. Jessica, welcome.
Thank you. That's right.
I know that was like a little long-winded because I didn't totally prepare for that, but anyway, we're here with Jessica.
Yeah,
so
and
Jessica.
We did. That's the fun thing about life is you meet in some of the strangest places or places you wouldn't expect. But yes, we were networking, senior living, you were a realtor, and part of what I do for a living is work in the senior space. So my company, Aromawell, we founded it back in 2012, and at the time I did not wake up and say, hey, I'm an aromatherapist and I'm going to work with senior living facilities and senior citizens. Oh. But as an aromatherapist, I'm trained in the clinical applications of essential oils. So a lot of people think what I do just smells good, but that's not even that doesn't even scratch the surface of what I do. So what I do, yes, smells good, but it actually feels good. And the research at the time, this is back in 2013, I think is when I got certified as an aromatherapist, was beginning to show that senior citizens and those that are dealing with the ails of aging, and especially in the dementia population, really benefited from aromatherapy. And so that, and I had an opportunity to work in a senior living facility, not directly with the patients or the residents, but a facility reached out to me and said, hey, we heard that you're an aromatherapist. We have no idea what that does or what that means, but we're trying to do aromatherapy with our residents and we would like some help.
Okay. So did like a study come out and then people were starting to inquire and that's why they reached out to you?
Yeah, so aromatherapy's been around for quite a while. But to answer your question, using it clinically and really understanding its clinical applications was beginning to surface, yes. Right. And so the other driving factor was that the federal government was beginning to regulate and write into regulation that these companies couldn't just dope up dad. I mean, pardon the expression, but the one solution that they had for anxiety, agitation, and depression and pain, those solutions that they had were always medications, and medications cause side effects, and sometimes they don't work, which creates a bigger problem.
Right.
So there was a need and kind of some pressure to have what we call complementary alternative medicine, person-centered care. These are terms that are used in the senior space, in the healthcare space. There's a desire to have or a requirement now in the law to have what's called non-pharmacological interventions. So aromatherapy actually is the perfect non-pharmacological intervention because it works like a pharmaceutical, but it's not a pharmaceutical. It's natural. It's not a pill.
Right.
Yes.
Because I think so many people, I know, especially my mom's generation, is very medicine. What can the doctor give me? And I think people have been making more of a movement speak to naturopaths and functional medicine and all of the
Yeah.
things. I mean, I became a little bit more aware of essential oils probably in like 2015 when a lot of the network marketing, oils were like taking off, and I had my little recipe book, and I was like, oh, I can like cure this without taking a pill, because I don't like taking pills. They make me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
And things like that. So I was like, I like that there's this natural remedy of sorts, so that's kind of my introduction to aromatherapy. So when I met you, and I was like, I can't believe this is actually like really curing diseases. Like, I mean, I was thinking about it just, getting rid of a headache or a tummy ache or like all the little ailments. I never thought about it being something that could like prevent, cure, and change people's lives.
Well, and you just nailed it. It can change people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a professional, I have to be careful because what I do is not governed by the American Medical Association or anything like that. So we actually can't say cure, and we
Okay.
don't say cure, but we do change lives.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when just through breathing too, that's the cool thing. So when you inhale an essential oil, it travels up into your olfactory system. Your olfactory nerve sits right here. So anything you smell gets in your body. And I always joke and tell people to keep that in mind.
So my mother could not smell. So she was convinced that that aromatherapy
Right.
would not work for her. So is that true?
No.
If you can't
No.
smell, you won't. Because I mean, I've read studies that people start using the essential oils and their sense of smell comes back. And I kept
Yes.
trying to tell my mom, oh, it's been gone forever. It's never coming back. And I was like, I don't know. I think there's something with this, Mom. So again, my parent lied to me. But
Yeah.
no, I wanted to help my mother, relieve some of her symptoms, feel better. And, so I was really trying to, educate myself and understand more. And so, like, I really appreciate what you do. Have you seen, now that you're in some of these senior spaces, are people coming back to you with like success stories?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been doing, so with that first community we worked in, we piloted a program, and we addressed sleep, anxiety, mood, digestion, like you mentioned, and pain. And it was so successful in that one facility back in 2013, they brought it to all 35 facilities in their whole
Oh, wow.
portfolio.
That's
And that
amazing.
was the beginning of obviously I was like, oh, well, I'm doing
right.
something right. Here we go. And that's why I said I didn't think I was going to be in this space when I started, but now here we are. I wanted to mention that just to finish up, when we smell the essential oils, there's any number of different chemicals in, so say a bottle of lavender has 40 different chemicals in it, naturally occurring chemicals. When you smell lavender, those are getting into your body via your olfactory system. So your nose is like a gateway to the brain.
Okay.
And so that's setting off like different chemical releases, serotonin and dopamine that are involved in mood, and a relaxation response. Just so many different things are happening in the brain. And so whether you can smell it or not makes no difference. And in fact, the reason people's sense of smell can come back is because, like a muscle or anything else, if you're not working it, and by working it, I mean with real plant aroma, not synthetic, because synthetic is confusing to the brain, and it actually is toxic. But real natural essential oil will trigger those olfactory nerves and start firing them off again and bring them back to life. Not always, but we had a hospice that was using our aromatherapy, and they were able to get a woman who was not able to sleep even with the medications. They were able to get her off of sleep medications in her last few weeks of life, which is really important because when you're on hospice and you're dying and your family is trying to connect with you before you leave this earth and say goodbye, it's the less meds, the better.
Right.
And so they were able to, she couldn't smell, but they did it anyway. And they were able to get her off her medications and sleeping naturally for the last few weeks of her life. And she even said something about it to them. She said, wow, I'm having dreams again.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, and that's a good sign that we're getting into a deep state of sleep.
Right.
So yes, it can work even if you can't smell.
Right. It's got to bring the family some peace to know that their loved one is passing more naturally and not suffering, so, as much maybe.
Yeah, that's right, because one of the drawbacks, and I know because my mom passed away too, as you know, that's part of my story on how I got into this, but when I was 19, my mom passed away, and she was on hospice, but it wasn't like it is today. It was in the hospital. It was very cold. It was very sterile. There was not anything to make it feel more comfortable for anybody, other than maybe some morphine for mom.
Right.
But so we couldn't connect with her when she was passing because she wasn't there. She was on the morphine. And so to be able to utilize essential oils at end of life, we can help somebody relax. The family feels better because their grief is being addressed by the aromatherapy as well. In fact, we have a blend called Grievewell, just for grief. And they're able to connect with their loved one before they die because they are not, so, pardon the expression, on so many meds. But
right.
Yes. So we've seen a ton of success in all those different areas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are there any major stories that you want to share? I mean, this is an opportunity for you. And with your parent porter, I want to be a proactive resource for families. So that's why I wanted to have you on here, because I want to be able to tell these people in their homes, I know we've talked about chemicals, and I'll let you expand more on it because I don't totally understand it, because I use my Glade plug-in and I like the way my house smells and all the things. But for an aging adult, when I go into their home, if it's filled with chemicals, I want to be able to make suggestions, more natural solutions for them that will help them hopefully live longer, feel better, and all of the things.
Sure. So on the topic of artificial fragrance and Glade plugins, and the idea of being proactive, one of the most proactive things you can do for your brain is to get rid of that now. Okay. And I will say that with a little stern voice.
I know.
Yes, because synthetic fragrance in the United States is thousands of chemicals that don't have to be disclosed, that are actually not allowed to be used in the EU because they're so toxic. They're not only toxic to our hormonal systems, our reproductive systems, unborn children, our brains, they're neurotoxic. They mess with our hormones. And so if you think of, all of us have to be aware of that. But start thinking about vulnerable populations. And we are blessed with this information today that our parents were not.
Right.
So they've been exposed to it all these years, and it's getting worse. And so now they're vulnerable. Their brains are vulnerable. Their bodies are vulnerable. And oh, by the way, they're victims of polypharmacy, which is 10 to 20 other chemical cocktails of medications in their body interacting with these chemicals coming in through their nose. So it's quite a bomb going off, okay? Right. And so one of the things I teach, because I do teaching and consulting, and not just in senior living, but all over in different industries, is the first thing you need to do is eliminate that, because that could be causing your problem.
Right.
And
so we're talking not just the plug-in things, but what about regular candles?
Yes, there's a cumulative effect too.
I've heard people talk about laundry soap,
all
of the things.
Yes.
So anything that has a scent added to it.
If it's not pure essential oil, and only pure essential oil, because some of these companies get creative and they'll say lavender Febreze. Lavender Febreze has very little real lavender in it. Okay.
I'm guilty.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, lavender, that's good for you, right? I'm smelling lavender. That should be good. But no, it's not.
That's how they trick you.
Okay.
And one trick I have is to just say, turn over the bottle or the package. Does it say fragrance or perfume on the back? Or does it say this is made with 100% pure essential oil? Because if a company is using pure essential oil and only pure essential oil, they want you to know that.
Okay.
Because it's a good thing. And so what the Febreze will say is fragrance. And then it will actually say down on the bottom, this contains fragrance allergens. Okay. FYI. So,
and that will cause inflammation, I assume.
Oh, yeah. Brain inflammation, confusion. So the first thing I do when I go into a senior living facility is find out where they're trying to, well, and it's a good, I mean, they're trying to address odor.
Right.
So it makes sense.
Right.
Where are you trying to, or in a home even, Nicole, this is what you can do. Where are you trying to make it smell good? Okay, if you could just switch over to clean natural products here, and oh, by the way, we can put stuff in here that not only smells good, but it will make you feel good. It'll stimulate your brain and your cognition and help you stay young and lower your cortisol levels, help you sleep better. I mean, so when I go into the facilities, this is what I say. First of all, you have to get rid of this because this is contributing to their problem, and your employees and staff and, you know, all of that. And then you have to replace it with something better, something clean and something healthy. We can help you smell good and feel good. And so in a person's home, that's as easy as, it's a lot easier to obviously address in a home, but people are resistant.
Right.
Yeah.
I can see that. Another thing we've talked about, I'm not to get off the thing of fragrance, but as a conversation we've had that's been very important to me starting Your Parent Porter was you and I talked about mold and mildew smells and things like that. And my house in Michigan, my parents' house, you know, it's always had that musty smell. It's Michigan, it's damp, it's the things.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just kind of shrugged it off like, yep, it's probably moldy in the basement, whatever. When we cleaned out my parents' house, you know, I found black mold and, you know, obviously cleaned it up and things like that. But it was funny because I came home and talked to you and I was like, you know, my dad used to complain about his arthritis and, you know, he didn't feel good. And, you know, my fingers were hurting when I was there. And I thought for sure it was, you know, I just took on Dad's juju because I was sleeping in their bedroom. And then we had this conversation and you told me about, you know, mold and other things that are in the air that are affecting our bodies.
Oh, yeah.
So can you explain a little bit, will essential oils actually help take care of some of that? Will it remove any of that, or is that just a whole different conversation?
Is a very complex issue.
Okay.
But here's what I can say.
Okay.
The reason we had that conversation and the reason I've become such an expert is because
I know we were talking about noses and smelling things.
Well,
so
but also
whether it's related or not.
Oh, it's totally related.
Okay.
Because your whole goal is to help check out the homes and make sure they're healthy and safe. And I've been exposed and lived in 3 moldy places in the last 3 years. I have chronic exposure to mold, and as a result, it has affected my health. And I moved to Arizona in the best health and shape of my life, and couldn't figure out what was going on. And it was arthritis in my hands, and I'm still dealing with it. I'm still working on healing from it.
Okay.
So in these old homes, you know, a lot of people write off mold, but it is one of the most serious issues that we are facing as a human race, because it's actually in, I think the statistics I just heard the other day were like into 60 to 80% of homes and buildings, and people don't know it.
Right.
And
even here in Arizona where it's dry.
You would never, that's what I'm saying. You would never, I'm from Minnesota. I didn't have mold issues in Minnesota, but I have them here. And so a lot of that is because building owners and management companies, they don't take care of their buildings. And when you have air conditioning units, and so same with senior citizens that are getting older and not as capable, you've got air conditioning units running 24/7, you know, 9 months out of the year. That's a primary cause of a mold breakout in a house here in Arizona, is a tiny little leak. And so the thing about mold is that it will destroy your olfactory nerve and you won't be able to smell it. Yeah, it's smart.
So I wonder if that was part of my mother's problem of not being able to smell.
Exactly.
She blames it on a nasal spray that she took too much of and just said it like killed her olfactory nerve or whatever.
Well, that could be too, but why was she taking the nasal spray, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she was just taking like one of those like Zicam or, you know, like, you know, something to prevent the cold from coming on or something. But she overused it is what she claims. But, you know, now knowing what I know about mold and hearing from you and actually that the aromatherapy can still work. So, I mean, you go into these homes. So now I've got an aging adult in their home. If I go check on them, I can smell the mold or mildew or something in their house. I can smell the chemicals in their house because I know the difference. I think I know the difference between essential oils and, the plugins that are like
pretty obvious,
cranking out the perfumes. But, I want to be able to make recommendations to them like, hey, let's get checked out for the mold. Hey, let's get essential oils in here. Like, if we eliminate one and add the other, is there a way to like kind of reverse the damage that's been done?
Yeah, so mold's tricky.
Okay.
One of the things I can tell you about mold is that you have to remediate it. You have to find the source of it, and you have to remove it. And that can be really complex. So the first thing you need to do is start with a proper test. There's like little air sampling tests, and you have to get a proper, it's like a swipe where they pick up the dust and they look at what's actually coming out of the air and settling on surfaces.
Oh, okay.
If it's in the HVAC system.
Right.
If it's in the walls or things like that, that's a different, you've got to go around with moisture meters and see if there's a leak somewhere. So it could be anything causing it.
Right.
But utilizing aromatherapy, utilizing certain essential oils and diffusing them into the air actually does address microbes. Fungus, mold, bacteria, viruses. Essential oils are really efficient at killing and or at least reducing counts on all levels. So diffusing regularly in a home is going to reduce your microbial counts, and the air quality is going to improve. Even if you don't remove the source, it's better than nothing.
Right.
And in fact, there's some mold remediation companies that will actually push essential oil-based products through the HVAC system after they're done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are those here locally?
Well, I don't know.
Have you heard,
I just know the product. I don't know who's using it, but I also know that I've done it. Like I've hooked our machines up to HVAC systems and sterilized them with our essential oils. Yeah.
Very interesting. We're gonna.
Yeah, we don't have any like testing that we did, so I gotta be careful what I say. But we've done, like just based on the research, knowing that what they do. Yeah.
Well, then we have to find those companies that are doing this.
I know.
So I can recommend them to my clients that are coming.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about, essential oils that you think people don't know or understand that is a common question that you get, and it's very eye-opening for other people that are inquiring?
Yes. So first, like you mentioned, and thank you, you didn't know how powerful they truly were. And that's one of the goals I have, is to help people understand like this. Every one of these oils, there's how many different plants on the planet, and the ones that, because the oil is the aromatic part of the plant, it's isolated from the plant, and all of them have different chemistry, and they're all basically pharmaceutically active and have different properties. And so the first thing I want people to know is there's a lot they can do, and to not underestimate them. They are medicine and they are neuroscience, and they do so many different things to the brain. Regular smelling of essential oils is so good for the brain. So think of rosemary. Rosemary is good for memory. It stimulates something called acetylcholine, which is the chemical in the brain that's involved with memory and cognition. So if you're regularly smelling something like that, even at our age, it's stimulating your brain. You're keeping it alive. You're keeping it active. You're keeping that acetylcholine pumping. Which is basically like anti-aging. I
like that.
Pro-cognition.
I mean, we all want that, right?
That's
Anti-aging.
right. That's right. And so one of the other things is, if there was one way that I could enter into somebody's life, aromatherapy, it would be through sleep. Sleep is essential to our health, and so many people don't sleep well. And when you don't sleep well, everything else goes haywire. There was a study that came out in 2023 maybe. And what they found was that when they diffused essential oils overnight, every night, so I'm going to bed, I've got my diffuser going, it's going throughout the night, I sleep better. For 6 months, a 223% increase in memory and cognition in older adults.
223%? Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Basically consistent aromatherapy at night. And so we have something called the Sleep Well program, and it's our blend Sleep Well, which is a blend of different essential oils that help get you into deep regenerative sleep, and a little device for parents, right? Or for your parents, that you can plug into a wall and time it and set it up so your parents don't have to do a thing. Okay. And it just goes off every night, and it diffuses our sleep well.
Love that.
And it's all backed by that science, and we get great feedback. Not only are people sleeping better, but their parents are waking up feeling better. They're getting off their medications, and there's a cascade effect. It helps to improve the immune system, the heart health, stress levels, all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I did get some of your Sleep Well, and I've been using it, but that made me think of another question. The diffusers. So I've got an old diffuser that I got a long time ago. I think I put tap water in it, and I put my essential oils in it. Am I doing more harm than good using the tap water? And I know you have different diffusers that distribute the oil directly versus diluting it with water.
That's right. I'm not a fan of the water ones anymore. I still use them like in my personal life because I like to mix up different things, and you can have fun with it that way.
Gotcha.
Whereas our machines, you put the oil in it and it goes, and you've got that oil. It's kind of, you're not that you're stuck with it, but it just works better that way. Tap water versus spring water or filtered water, it's not that big of a deal. Okay. It's about how it makes your machine feel more than anything. Like, tap water can be full of minerals that can build up in the machine. So you just want to keep it clean. My best advice is just don't let water sit in there, because that's when we get microbe growth, and we don't like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so if you were going to try to diffuse in your whole house, how many diffusers would you, how much space do those things cover? Or are there different sizes of diffusers and all of the things? So I go into a home, let's just call it a 3-bedroom, 1,200, 1,500 square foot house, whatever. How many diffusers will they need? Will they need one for every room of the house?
So it really just depends on what their goal is. So if somebody's just really trying to address their sleep, that's where I always recommend starting. Like I said, we just we have one little unit that plugs into the wall, and you set it up for them, and it just goes. Or if it's you or whoever, But then from there we have the same technology, automated, programmable, all the way up to 30,000 square feet.
Oh, okay.
And we can go in through the HVAC system in homes.
Oh, cool.
So that it just flows right through the vents. So if you want your home to smell amazing and feel amazing, that's where you would, have that HVAC system.
Okay.
Or you can strategically place devices in different areas. You could have one in the great room, our living room, and, strategically throughout the space, and curate how you want people to feel.
Okay, well, you might just be my resource for referrals when I walk into homes and they're interested in essential oils and learning more. We could talk forever. I have to wrap up this episode. But will you tell everyone again your name, your company name, and where they can find you?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nicole, for having me. So my name is Jessica Wiehle. I am the owner and founder of Aromawell. You can find us at aromatherapy.com. That's AROMAWELL.com. We are the clinical experts in aromatherapy for senior living, hospice, and even hospitality and other businesses as well.
Thank you so much, Jessica. And thank you to my listeners. Another episode of My Parents Lied to Me is complete, and I will catch you on the next episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. See you next time. Thanks for listening to My Parents Lied to Me, where we face the realities of aging, family change, and midlife reinvention with a little grit and a lot of heart. If today's conversation helped you feel less alone, I would love for you to like it, share it with a friend, and hit follow so you don't miss the next story or tip that might help you navigate what's next. Because even if our parents didn't tell us everything, we're figuring it out one chapter at a time.